Ever feel that pull, gravity just constantly there? What if it's not just physics? Like, what if it's pointing to something way bigger, something kind of like a fundamental yearning, but cosmic, like woven into everything? Today, we're going deep, way beyond, your Newton, your Einstein. We're exploring this wild idea. Gravity is like a metaphysical pull, but towards the creator, straight from, you guessed it, the law of one.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, set aside everything you think you know about gravity, right? Just for a sec. We've been digging into the law of one, sometimes people call it the raw material, and it gives this totally new perspective on something, well, we experience every second, literally. We're not talking equations here. This is about getting a spiritual feel for this force, like a universal force.
So this isn't just planets and stars and orbits, right? This deep dive, the core of it, is that gravity, at its deepest level, it's like this longing. It's in all of creation, but it's trying to find its way back to the source, to the one, the creator. Ra puts it so well, they say. Gravity may be seen as the pressing towards the inner light love, the seeking towards the spiral line of light which progresses towards the creator. This is a manifestation of a spiritual event or condition of lovingness.
Powerful stuff, right. And this isn't just some abstract theory for the listener out there. This is offering like a radical new way to grasp something absolutely fundamental to your existence. Like imagine a new lens you can look through to see the entire universe and your place in it, a shortcut to a profound spiritual insight.
Right, so let's unpack this. Gravity is this like spiritual homing instinct. I love that image. Ra isn't just talking about what keeps our feet on the ground. They're suggesting, like gravity, it's this spiritual inclination, this tug, a cosmic tug, but towards unity, towards the source, like a universal compass needle, but always subtly pointing one way, home. And what's so captivating is this thought that this represents like this core desire. It's embedded in everything, this drive to reconnect with the creator, but it's basic, like a return home impulse, but it's resonating through everything, the whole universe, this underlying sense of, I don't know, longing for its origin. It's beautiful.
It really is. And then it gets even more interesting when you consider that this, like spiritual gravity, maybe it's not a constant, maybe it changes, Ra says. The attractive force, which we also describe as the pressing outward force towards the creator, is greater spiritually upon the entity you call Venus due to the greater degree of success at seeking the creator. So what's that telling us?
Well, it seems like this spiritual gravity, it's not a fixed thing tied to like physical mass. It's more like it's influenced by, let's say, a being or even a planet, but their level of alignment, with that source, that love and light, the creator. So it's not how much stuff you've got, but your spiritual resonance, your intention, how much you seek, that's what matters.
Which then leads us to something that at first it feels completely backwards, black holes. But as metaphysical gravity wells, usually you think black hole, you think cosmic dead end, right?
Yeah.
Nothing escapes. But Ra, they give us a totally different take on this.
Yeah, totally different. Instead of seeing it as just annihilation, Ra suggests it's like this physical thing, but manifesting this huge metaphysical yearning, but for oneness with the one. Think of it less like a drain and more like this powerful attractor, spiritually. It's the focal point of that pull homeward.
And Ra, they say it like this: when all of creation has reached a spiritual gravitational mass, the entire creation infinitely coalesces, ending the creation and beginning a new creation, much as you consider the black hole. That's a huge shift from how we normally think about black holes.
It is, yeah. And the point here is that this coalescence, it's not oblivion. It's not like the universe just blinks out, It's more like returning to wholeness, this cosmic inhale, like everything drawn back to the start. Imagine a drop of water going back into the ocean, something like that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So if there's spiritual gravity, makes sense to wonder, is there something like spiritual mass too?
Yeah.
Ra talks about that too, right?
Yeah, definitely. Spiritual mass is key here. Think of it like physical mass, right? It exerts a pull, but it's not based on matter, physical stuff. It's based on your alignment, how aligned you are with love and light, those higher vibrations of being.
And Ra, they define it so well, they say. Spiritual mass is that which begins to attract, the outmoving and ongoing vibratory oscillations of being, carrying us into the gravity, speaking in a spiritual sense, well, of the great central sun. So what's that telling us about how this all works?
The implication is, wow, it's profound. The more you embody love and light in your thoughts, actions, just your being, the stronger that spiritual gravity gets. It pulls you closer to the source, but it also attracts. It attracts experiences, maybe even other beings, but those that resonate with that light. Think of it like, oh, I don't know, a tuning fork. It vibrates at a frequency, and it attracts others tuned to the same pitch.
That's a great analogy. So gravity is not just this passive force. It's active, it's purposeful. Like creation's got this built-in guidance system, always pointing everything towards home.
Exactly. Ra puts it so beautifully, they say. Gravity may be seen as the pressing towards the inner light love, the silent homing signal. It's like this desire just woven into everything to spiral inwards towards unity, the heart of creation, a subtle whisper, a constant invitation back to where it all began.
And the black hole, now it's not this scary void. It's this ultimate reunion, the cosmic inhale, but only when all that spiritual seeking reaches, like a tipping point. What a change in how we think about them.
Totally. And spiritual mass, this pull towards the great central sun, that's fundamental. As beings get more aligned with love, wisdom, they become like these beacons. They pull aspects of themselves back to that central light.
And it sounds like this final return, this like transition of creation, it even goes beyond how we think about time. Rod talks about that, doesn't it?
Yes, they do. Rura mentions the transition of the octave is a process which may be seen to enter into timelessness of unimaginable nature. Moving through the black hole misses the subconcept of the portion which is timeless. What they're getting at is, as this ultimate gravity kicks in, creation goes back to the source, but it goes beyond our linear time. It's a realm of pure stillness, outside of time as we measure it.
So it's not just about everything being pulled in, right? There's this outward reach too, this seeking.
Right, a key distinction. Ra presents it as this duality. It's not just collapse inwards, there's this ongoing outward movement too. It's reaching towards the creator. Remember that Venus quote. The attractive force, which we also describe as the pressing outward force towards the creator, is greater spiritually upon the entity you call Venus due to the greater degree of success at seeking the creator.
So it's like the more you try for that connection, the stronger the gravity pulling you closer, like a feedback loop seeking and being drawn in.
Precisely. Which brings us back to black holes as spiritual fulfillment. It's the end of that outward search, but it's an inward return. Light finds light, merges. It's the creator experiencing itself, like Ra says. When all of creation has reached a spiritual gravitational mass, the entire creation infinitely coalesces. The light seeking and finding its source, ending the creation and beginning a new creation, much as you consider the black hole.
Now here's something that seems, well, contradictory. Ra suggests that denser illusions, those go with greater spiritual gravity. How do we understand that?
It does seem odd, yeah, but the idea isn't that these denser illusions are like a punishment. Think of it as the experience, the spiritual experience getting more intense, more focused, but because that pull towards the creator is stronger. Like imagine trying to find your way home, but in thick fog versus a clear night. The fog makes it harder, right? But you still feel that pull home, maybe even more strongly. The denser the illusion, the more it contrasts with the light you're searching for.
So, not a roadblock, but maybe a way to make the journey home more, I don't know, meaningful. Because that's stronger pull, a different way to think about challenges.
Exactly, and Ra brings us back to that core idea, they say. Gravity may be seen as the pressing towards the inner light love, a manifestation of a spiritual event or condition of livingness. It's not just acting on objects, it's tied to being alive, period. It's the soul's pull towards its origin.
So gravity, it's not just this outside force, it's personal, it's inside us, like an existential magnetism, but of the soul. This deep desire in everything alive to get back to that source.
Right, and when we compare like spiritual gravity versus physical gravity, Venus is a good example. It's not about size, not about mass, it's about intention, willingness. It's actively going after the creator. It's the heart, not the body, that's yearning.
And the black hole then, it becomes like the ultimate expression of this, the completion of the spiral.
Yeah.
When all the creation wants it badly enough, unity is not just possible, it has to happen.
Exactly. Russ says, when all of creation has reached a spiritual gravitational mass, the entire creation infinitely coalesces, the light seeking and finding its source, ending the creation and beginning a new creation. It's the ultimate homecoming, being embraced by the source.
So gravity, the strongest kind, it's not about being held down, it's about being called home.
Absolutely. Rad talks about spiritual gravitational mass. They say it attracts the outmoving and ongoing vibratory oscillations of beingness into the gravity of the great central sun, core, or creator of the infinite universes. It's that pull towards the origin, the ultimate return, the very heart of everything.
And his take on the blackness of black holes, it's fascinating. It's not what we usually picture.
Not at all. Metaphysically, it's not an absence of light. It's a concentration of white light being systematically absorbed once again into the one creator. The ultimate surrender, going back to the source. Light isn't gone, it's drawn back to the whole.
Not lost in darkness, but powerfully drawn back to where it began. And this intense spiritual gravity, it eventually does something amazing. It dissolves time itself.
It does. As that desire for unity gets stronger, the framework of time, it breaks down. Ra puts it like this. The transition of the octave is a process which may be seen to enter into timelessness of unimaginable nature. To attempt to measure it by your time measures would be useless. Going back to source goes beyond time. It leads to the sacred stillness beyond measurement.
And it all comes back to this spiritual mass and its pull towards the great central sun.
Yes, it acts like this perfect compass, guiding everything towards that great central sun. Rod describes it as basically the gravity well of God, the center of everything where this cosmic yearning is leading.
That image is so powerful. The great central sun, the cosmic heart, and the more spiritual mass, the stronger the pull inwards.
It really is. And the goal, the final point of all this, is everything going back to this great central sun. The whole universe gets enough spiritual mass, and it all comes back together, as Ra says. Until all the infinity of creations have attained sufficient spiritual mass, all form once again the great central sun of the intelligent infinity. It's not collapse, it's a folding inwards, a loving return to where everything came from.
So this deep dive into the law of one, it shows us gravity isn't just what keeps our feet on the ground. It's way more than that. It's the core of longing in all of existence, this desire to return to the Creator, a signal, a spiritual homing signal, guiding the whole cosmos back to its beginning.
Exactly. It's this basic yearning for unity, and it's behind everything, a constant silent invitation to come home.
I love that. And on that note, here's something to think about. If gravity, it's this yearning for unity, how does that change how you see your own longings, your own desires?
Yeah.
Are they like echoes of this cosmic pull, your own compass pointing towards what you feel is your source, your center? What are the gravitational pulls in your life?
That's a powerful question, isn't it? What draws you in? What really resonates? What feels like home? Could that be your version of this universal yearning we've been talking about? It makes you think.
If this has sparked something for you, we really encourage you, check out the Law of One yourself. Explore these ideas. They're so thought-provoking spiritually. It's a huge, vast landscape for thinking about these things, and it could really change how you see things.
There's so much wisdom in that material. What we talked about today, it's just a glimpse, a tiny glimpse into this huge understanding of the cosmos and us in it.
So next time you feel gravity, that pull, maybe think of it as not just a force, but maybe the universe whispering, "Come home." Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.